Owning a studio is a rewarding yet challenging journey. And it's easy to lose that initial spark amidst the daily grind. So, how do you keep the fire alive? How do you stay motivated? How do you stay creative? And most importantly, how do you stay inspired? Because inspiration is so important. It's what fuels innovation. It keeps you going through challenges, and it makes the journey just that so much more fulfilling. So I've invited one of the most inspiring leaders in our industry onto the show today to explore these questions and so much more with you. I am so excited that we have got special guest Alisa Wyatt, the founder of Pilatesology, joining me today.
Well, hi there, I'm Sarah Glanfield. I'm a business and marketing strategist just for boutique fitness studio owners like you. If you're ready to be inspired and make a bigger impact, you're in the right place. All you need are a few key strategies, the right mindset, and some support along the way. Join me as I share the real-life insights that will help you grow a sustainable and profitable studio. This is the Pilates Business Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Pilates Business Podcast. I'm so thrilled that you are joining us today, and we have a very, very special guest, someone who, to me, embodies really the essence of inspiration and innovation in the Pilates world. Alisa Wyatt is not just a renowned Pilates teacher and has been teaching for a very long time, but is also the founder of one of the largest online Pilates platforms in the world, Pilatesology. Welcome, Alisa. I'm so glad you're back.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here again.
I know. So the last time Alisa was on the show was back in 2021, in May of 2021, on episode 4. So if you loved this episode, after you've listened to this, go back and listen to that, because we talked all about how Pilatesology got to be and a little bit more about Alisa. But today we are diving into a topic that I think is really important for us as both teachers and studio owners. And that is the topic of how you stay inspired. Because to stay inspiration really is the lifeblood of a successful business. It's especially important, though, in an industry like this, in the wellness industry, where you're not just giving a service, but you're also creating an experience, and you're also you're working very, very closely with your clients and their energies and all of the things that are happening in their lives. And when you're inspired as a teacher and as a studio owner, that energy is contagious. It radiates through classes. It becomes a part of what your studio becomes. Your team feed off of it. And it really creates that very special, unique atmosphere that people come to love inside of your studio. And so I know that Alisa has traveled the world and has, been to hundreds of studios. And not only that, but she has met so many teachers along the way, many that she has brought onto the platform. And so there's a lot of inspiration flowing in your world, Alisa. Mm-hmm. So why don't you start off by perhaps talking about what got you started and what are you most inspired about in your practice and what you're doing in Pilatesology?
I think that's such a great question. I mean, there are so many massive fitness trends coming and going, and as kind of a diehard fitness junkie, I've definitely tried them all, and I love all kinds of movement. So it's hard for me to resist being distracted by everything. But what I've always come back to is the depth of really the classical method and how easy it is to get excited about seeing your body change and your clients change. And that has made it really easy for me as a business owner to stay inspired, because there's just an endless supply of inspiration and work and depth to this method. So I guess for me, staying really niche in what we do has made that super easy. I think what I see done well in lots of studios is when someone really cares about what they do, and then they just learn all they can about it and just get really into it. To me, that is really fun, really inspiring, really energetic and motivating. And what I always come back to, if I'm learning from someone, they could be teaching the same class they were teaching 20 years ago, but if they love it and are doing it well, that's what you want to be doing. You want to be in that community.
Yeah, that energy really does feed through, it does have ripple effects, right?
Right.
And I think, like, it's, I think it is so contagious, the passion that you have for a method, or the movement practice that you are teaching. The more that you enjoy it, the more that you will find, I think, other people around you are also inspired to enjoy it also.
Which is what was so transfixing about learning to teach Pilates from Romana Krzyzanowska and Kathy Grant and Ron Fletcher, who I experienced in a few workshops. Their passion, even 50 years after finding that method, was just so overwhelming. It was like, wow, well, there is something here. And I really see that carrying through in lots of studios nowadays too. There's lots of people out there who are holding true to what they first discovered and found inspiring. And that, to me, is just where really the depth of movement comes from.
Yeah. And we are so fortunate with Pilates that there is so much depth there. There is so much more you can continue to learn and uncover and discover about yourself and the way other people move as well. So it's a never-ending source, really.
I agree. And I think there's also this through line where I see other trends in fitness come and go. Like there's a thing going on right now, knees are over toes, where you're allowed now to bring your knees over your toes because it's a functional movement and it happens in daily life and blah, blah, blah. And duh, that's been happening in Pilates everywhere all this time. So when I see trends like that come and go, it makes me excited that we have all this depth already in what we do as teachers. And it just makes it more affirming to me that I'm teaching something that really works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
great.
Yeah, and I think to tell it, just to go rewind a little bit, because when you Pilatesology is now how old?
We're 12 years old.
12 years old. So, oh my gosh. And one of the reasons that you kind of were inspired to go down this path, and it wasn't as though you had a background in digital platforms at all, and there really wasn't very many out there at that time, right? It was none.
It was just nothing.
There was nothing. It was, yes. Was because you wanted to continue to learn from a lot of people who you had learned from in the past, right?
I originally from California, had been living in New York for 14 years. And for lots of family reasons, I was moving back to California and just living in fear of losing all my teachers. I mean, everyone that I learned from and my community of Pilates people was there in New York. So I think Pilatesology, at the moment, my husband and I, Jack, were making a DVD.
That's right.
Of my workouts. And that was the beginning really of Pilatesology. And I think coming to Los Angeles and finding Jay Grimes and working with him for many, many years as a student and seeing him as a mentor, and then just like suddenly there was this option to to preserve this method with Jay's blessing. And oh my gosh, so much, I felt so much responsibility when we started, but
of course, yeah,
bringing it together, having these amazing teachers trust me with their work has been such a gift. And
absolutely,
yeah,
and so inspiring for being able to provide that source of not just education and not just movement, but inspiration too to so many people, right? Without this platform, there wouldn't be anywhere near as much access to great Pilates and online classes as we have available to us today. So
it's so true, Saran. I'm shocked every week somebody from somewhere so far flung writes to me. I mean, we've have people in India and Pakistan, in Vietnam, in the most incredible places that I just didn't think Pilates was reaching, and they're passionate about classical Pilates and learning the depth of the method, just like I'm inspired by it. And that to me is incredible.
Yeah.
So great.
Yes, it's global, truly global.
Yeah.
And so, obviously Pilatesology has been around for a long time. And over that time, we've seen not just our industry evolve and develop and grow in a lot of different ways, but the digital platform world has also developed and grown at a rapid pace.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that, that there's been a lot of decisions that you've had to make along the way and had to figure things out along the way. But how do you, you're kind of laughing, right?
It's
If you're
just,
not watching this video.
it's not our favorite part of this job. Let's just say that.
But it must be really challenging to keep up with all of these things. So how do you do that? How do you know what's a good decision or not a good decision, what to pursue or not pursue?
God, we've made so many bad decisions. Let's just say that. You learn by trial and error, I think. And certainly having been around for 12 years, we started at a time when there was just nothing available and pieced it all together. And so, yeah, we've struggled through a lot. Let's
Yeah.
just say that. And I think you just learn by trial and error and start doing a lot of research before you add on a new piece of technology. I mean, technology is really the hardest part about this because
Yeah.
it's constantly breaking. You have to be very patient. And I'm super lucky that my other half, my teammate, Jack, is really good at being patient and working very, very well with technology. So, and
Yeah.
the people who help us with it.
Yeah.
So that's been great, but it's just, that's just that's the hard part. It's
Yeah.
also can be really expensive. But that's a cost of business.
It is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And you've built the platform to initially who were you building it for initially, and has that changed, would you
That's
say?
a good question. I guess, when we started, who were we building it for? It was for me. I was like, what would I want to do? I want to work out and I want to continue to be inspired and learn. And when it comes down to it, that's if I'm not inspired and excited by something, then it doesn't really end up on the platform. But I think what I'm looking for is workout videos and teaching content that really speaks to both people who are looking to be strong and feel great in their bodies, just like you would get when you go to a studio, like a complement to studio workouts. And then there's two sides to our audience. It's enthusiasts and then teachers who need to stay inspired and educated and in their own practice, because that's probably one of the hardest things about being a teacher is to keep your own practice strong.
Oh, absolutely. And so how do you keep because now you have got thousands and thousands and thousands of videos on Pilatesology. There's so many.
Yeah.
Amazing. And it's all, and like you said, nothing gets on there that hasn't been vetted by you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you have standards and you have, you want a certain quality of and caliber of teaching on the site.
For sure.
And so how do you keep the content that you put out on the site and the classes and the workshops and the workouts fresh and engaging?
That's a great question. I think well, there's a couple of things. Like I've noticed in the time that we've been around in these 12 years that our attention span as consumers for content has changed a bit. There used to be a time where everybody wanted a really short workout and then it was a really long workout. And now it's like kind of a sweet spot in the middle. But what I really have noticed is that people are looking for community and they're looking for a journey that they can go on that helps them stay engaged with whatever it is they're doing. So for us, what we've done is create both ways to join us live with, we have a program called Live Sessions that's really just for teachers. And we bring in some of our top teachers and they either teach workshops or workout classes that go in a series so that you can experience that teacher fully or a complement of 2 different teachers. So that's been one way. And we've also launched programs that really take you on a journey. In fact, we have a couple of new programs out right now that I'm so excited about. They're complete studio programs that teach the method in a system as it was meant to be taught. And that's something for me is new, because these are like full length programs that take you through this entire journey with the teacher.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's great because it's really putting your workout back into your hands. You have an hour and you're just going to commit yourself to like, wow, I'm going to do a full workout with the teacher as if they were here with me. That's
Right.
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And with something like the live sessions, obviously that is quite a departure from what the platform was set up originally to do, right? Which is essentially video on demand.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about how that kind of came about and what goes into putting together a program like that.
Yeah, well, during the pandemic, we couldn't travel as no one else could, and we started running out of content. And we had this great idea to start having Zoom classes so that we could be together, and that was amazing. And it really brought us together as a community. But as you can imagine, that's like an entirely other business.
Yes.
So to keep that going, because I really do love that feeling of getting to see everyone that's all over the place when we can't necessarily travel to each other. We started live sessions, and live sessions is a way for us to be together and then have an intensive learning experience, while, you know, still being able to not have to travel and all the extra expense. So,
right. It's
kind of, is
it kind of like working? I mean, you're in it. How big are the classes or the sessions?
The classes generally tend to be, everyone can use recordings. So there's oftentimes when someone has a lesson and can't attend live. So the tech classes tend to be probably 30 people max, maybe more like 20 or 16. So they tend to be small when you're there in person. So you do get personalized attention, and the program you're going from class to class. Like usually we have 2 times a week, so that you're growing in terms of what you're doing. The class progresses throughout. The last one we did, we had a workshop and then 2 classes after that complemented what we learned in the workshop. And that was just really amazing.
Powerful.
We've just gotten the best feedback from it. It's been great.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And I think now, you know, there was a boom period, right, during and just after COVID, where there was, I think, a lot of appetite for online classes. And I think certainly the desire has dropped off, especially more so from a consumer perspective, I think. But, you know, everyone is back to, there's no, you know, everyone is doing normal life now. And so if you are going to commit to doing a workout, it's way more fun to be doing it live alongside someone else, right? And I think that you're more committed to show up and do it. You're more committed to do it, perhaps a little bit, give it a little bit more effort as well. And therefore both of those will mean that you are going to feel better and stronger afterwards, right?
Oh, for sure. I think the live sessions has been a nice complement to what we do as well. And it's just a nice community builder for me. I really, really enjoy seeing everyone. So
oh yeah, for sure.
I love that part of it.
And being able to work with teachers, you know, with teachers that probably you would never be able to get into a class of, or even consistently in their class because they live on the other side of the world or the other side of the country. It's
for sure.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah. It's introducing people to teachers that they wouldn't necessarily experience otherwise. It's great.
Yeah. Yes. You know, and it's really important to, I think, to seek out those types of opportunities as a teacher to fuel your own movement practice, because again, that really has that ripple effect into the way that you then go about teaching your own clients and perhaps leading your team of teachers if you have other teachers working alongside you. So it's something that I think often gets put on the bottom of the list. But your own workout practice is really, really important.
I have to say that's been the biggest inspiration in my career. And I always, even when I couldn't afford it, booked myself a lesson, at least one in-person lesson per week, or a Zoom lesson now with someone that I really respect. and that inspires me, and that really leaves me fired up and feeling as though I had to complete all of the things that you get from Pilates that are so amazing, because that's what's kept me both strong and fully motivated and inspired to do what we do.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. I think, when you early on in the career, it's something that I think you do just very naturally because you recognize that need to continue to learn. But I think if you've been teaching for a while, it's something that this is the feedback I get from a lot of studio owners, is that as your plate gets fuller, it's one of the first things that kind of gets taken off.
Oh, it's so easy
right?
to let it go, and you just cannot do that, because then all of those hours of teaching starts to drag you down.
Yeah.
You really, really have to commit to that. It just gives you so much more. And even if it's the other time, if I can't get somewhere, doing a class online, doing a recorded class is honestly can be just as empowering. I just have to do it. That's the harder part.
It is such the hard part. So
Right.
tell us a little bit about some of your tricks that you use to make sure that you squeeze your workout in when you feel like, oh, am I going to do this?
It's so easy to say all of these. I plan it in my calendar. I book it so that it's my time and there's nothing else around it. I lay out my clothes so that right now I'm wearing the clothes that I'm going to wear for my workout right after this interview.
Yeah.
So I have to I even have my shoes on so that I can walk straight out the door and get to it. I keep a space in my house ready and waiting for me to work out. If it's the day before and I know I'm going to do a video, I queue up the video and I have it all set.
Yeah.
It's just these little ways of preparing myself, like, oh, I'm going to go do that make it happen. And I think that's why, for me, Pilates was so powerful, because you literally made an appointment with someone, and that accountability for me is just the most powerful thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to show up and they're expecting me to show up, and I better show up and do something.
Yes.
That's just
and
me.
like 15 minutes in, you're like, why was I making such a big deal out of it?
Yeah, you're like, I love this. This is so great.
So good.
I feel so much better.
Never regret it. Never regret it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just one of those things. And it was the same way for me as a fitness enthusiast before I found Pilates. Like, if I knew I had a class that I enjoyed and I was going to show up for it, I look forward to that. You have to find something you enjoy, a community you enjoy, people you enjoy, a teacher you enjoy, then it's just easier to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, tell me a little bit about running as a business like Pilatesology, and how you kind of keep yourself inspired in day in and day out in running that business, because you're being pulled in a lot of different directions. I know, having, known you for a while, a long time now, that, there's a lot of different things happening behind the scenes, and there's a lot that goes into running a business like that. It's not all just, hopping on the reformer and moving through some workouts and, filming. There's a lot more to it, right? So tell me how you stay inspired and what you focus on to keep moving forward.
Well, I have to compliment you, Saran, because people might not know this, but you've been a big help to us and to me as a consultant in the entire life of Pilatesology, and that's been really inspiring and motivating. So thank you. You encouraged me. There's a couple of things. During COVID, we worked, as you can imagine, really, really hard, because online fitness kind of exploded, and that was great for us, but it was also exhausting because everybody else was taking a break and cleaning their closets, and we were not. So in the midst of that, at your urging, I hired an extra employee, and so we have now a team of 4. Tiny team, tiny but mighty, and that has been both really inspiring and exciting for me to be able to take a little bit of a load off myself. And even though everyone's always trying to get me to give this up, one of the most inspiring things that I find about Pilatesology is the emails that we started receiving from day one from people who use the site and have incredible things happen for them with literally only doing Pilates at home. And I can't tell you the incredible stories of becoming pain-free and rejuvenation and returning to life, literally, that people write to me about. And so those emails every single day and week are the most inspiring thing. And then getting to meet our members in person, our teachers in person, getting to go to studios and conferences all over the world. Like, I don't know, you can hear it in my voice. I love it. I love being around everyone. And Pilates people are just great people. The people who teach Pilates and do Pilates are really caring, wonderful, awesome people. So it's pretty easy, actually, to stay inspired. I'm lucky. I love what I do. It's just really been a great career for me.
Yeah. And I have to, I have, we speak regularly, and I am often trying to encourage Alisa to perhaps share the load of Pilatesology with some more people on adding to the team. But you do genuinely want to be in that role where you are engaged with all of your members. You absolutely love it. It really is where the role that you feeds you, and you thrive in that role. And it's very true.
I love that. And I think one of the things that has kept us so vital as a company is being small and really not growing too fast. And I think, we saw lots of companies make that mistake during COVID, but we're still working out of our garage. And it's one of the things that allow us to.
It's a very nice garage, though.
Yeah, it's a garage.
It is
cute. But I think that being small and just sticking to our roots has made it really easy to give our team what they need to be happy and survive, or to thrive rather, not survive, but to really keep that going. And we want to, being able to do that has allowed us to support lots of studios and teachers all over the world. And that's another big goal for us as Pilatesology, is to keep seeing the classical method grow and thrive.
Yeah. And how are you doing that? What are you doing on Pilatesology obviously you have got a plethora of classes and workshops that you offer on the site that obviously I know, from our conversations, really does inspire a lot of teachers with different ways of teaching things and picking up new cues and, keeping the method fresh for them. How else? And obviously the live sessions are another way that you're helping and supporting teachers to perhaps lean into their own work a little bit more. What other things are you doing to support teachers, studio owners, and classical method?
We have we have a Find a Teacher directory on the site, and that gets used a lot. But honestly, there are so many people who write to me, our members, who are regular would-be clients, because a lot of them have never done Pilates before. And they write to me often with issues that they're having in their bodies, or reasons that their doctors have suggested Pilates. And one of the first things I do is I suggest that they go find a teacher, and I help them find a teacher if they haven't already found one. And I did that just twice this week. It's only Wednesday or Thursday. So that happens a lot. And using our Find a Teacher directory is a great thing. So if you're a member of Pilatesology, making sure that you're up to date in that directory is great. I also am looking to, for me right now, there's the old school Pilates teachers who we've focused on so much in Pilatesology, because they need to be recorded. I think that's really important goal of ours. But I also at this moment see an opportunity for all these new teachers, all these young teachers who are out there, to come into their own and start taking over, to start carrying the torch. And so that's been a goal of mine, is to seek out the next generation and help to bring them to everyone's awareness and support them as they grow. So that's something I'm looking around for too.
That's a lot of things. It's a lot of things brewing there. Wonderful. Well, I have to say, I appreciate you and all that you've done for the Pilates industry. I think you have been a source of inspiration for so many people who know you, and people who only know you through your videos online. So I know how much hard work and dedication and commitment it's taken to develop what you have created. So I appreciate it. And I think on behalf of everyone else that is a member or has ever been a member of Pilatesology, thank you for all of it. Thank you.
Thank you all. I'm so grateful to everyone who is a member and has been a member and will be in the future, because it's this community that really keeps me going and makes it worthwhile. So
yeah, it's a great, like you said, Pilates people are good people.
They really are.
It's a great world to be a part of.
Not to pat myself on the back, but we're
right.
good people. We care.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing all of your inspiration and being so inspirational to everyone else. But why don't you just share really quickly before we hop off where folks can come to connect with you and to learn more about Pilatesology if they haven't already checked it out?
Pilatesology.com. It's Pilatesology, all one word.com, and that's where we are. You can find us. You can find us there.
Wonderful. I'm going to put all of that in the show notes. Thanks so much, Alisa, for being here.
Thank you, Saran. Look forward to the next one.
That's right. Absolutely. If you loved what you heard today, I would be so appreciative if you could go and take a quick minute to rate and review this podcast. It would mean so much to me and would help to get it out there into the community in front of more teachers and more studio owners just like you, so that you can feel encouraged and supported on your journey in our industry.